Hello, we're having a do-over due to some technical difficulties. So welcome back again to How to Fail Early and Often and Not Get It Twisted on Couples Coaching and Counseling 101. And this is episode 25. And remember to share, like, and post the video at the end. And we're going to get back started with a quick overview of last week's points.
Yeah. And last week we talked about what have you been successful at, being open to new ideas. Because thank you. One of the things that that I've learned is that most of us have things that we're good at that you can actually turn and make money. Like I see Miss Jackson on, and she enjoys baking, and so now she bakes for a living. That's a great example. She also does hair, right?
Absolutely.
And so, she enjoys doing hair. And so now you take that and you turn it into a business. And so we all have resources right there at the house within ourselves that we can use, and we can take them and make money for them. Now, why are these things important? Because a lot of relationships struggle because of money. And it's not the abundance of money. Okay? It's usually the lack. Right? It just creates all kind of problems, unnecessary problems. Now, money management and all that stuff, I get that. Okay? That's another week. But right now, we're just talking about, pressing the gas and putting the accelerator on. And so I want to jump right in also. Look for the easy things that you can do right now. What are some things you can do right now? Right? And I also want you to be mindful of when you have the motivation and the desire. If you've thought about doing something more than about 5 times, let's get moving. Okay? Because usually that means that you've got a gift for it, or you've got a desire to do it. And so it's time to get activated on it. Now, make the decision to do it. Because a lot of times when you are asking other people and they're giving their opinion, before you make your decision to do it, it can be very challenging.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And it could be very discouraging. I remember early on, we started out in the direct sales industry in 1996, and my first company. And I remember just going to, not really talking to people about the service or the opportunity or any of the products that we offered, but I just remember talking to them and asking them, hey, do you think this is a good idea? And you know what? It was very discouraging. Right? And so thank God there was 2 of us, because if it wasn't, maybe it wouldn't have worked. Right? Yeah. All right. And so number 4 is do it even though you may be afraid. And I've got a couple of points down here when we're talking about a lot of times anything different is going to bring fear. So any changes is going to bring fear. Well, what's the fear? The fear is, oh my God, can I do it? The fear is, oh my God, will I survive this change? Oh my God, will this change negatively impact me? Right. Most of the time, fear is like paying interest on a loan that you didn't take. Usually your worst fear never happens.
Right.
It doesn't even come close to it.
Absolutely.
This week, I have like certain weeks where I'm doing certain things, and I cling to certain books. Well, one of the books that I've taken advantage of over the last probably 13, 14 years was Who Moved My Cheese by Spencer Johnson. One of my favorite books. It's a little old book. It's an easy read. I love it because it's simple, and every time I read it, I see something different. Well, what I figured out was when the cheese is moved, okay, and to get this, you're going to have to read the book. Get it on audio if you don't have time to read it. Everybody has time to listen to a book, okay? when the cheese gets moved, usually it puts you in unknown territory. Because now you used to get your money from over here. Now you're switching up and you're getting your money from over here. So it used to be, you used to sell suits off the rack. And you got your money, most of your money from selling suits off the rack. Well, now everything is shifting to custom suits, discount custom suits. So now you're having to switch. So it's that switch, and usually it's the unknown, and it makes us very uncomfortable because, oh my God, will I survive? I even had to laugh at myself because, believe it or not, things are constantly changing, and you're constantly having to adapt to the change.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, you find that, Nashima, like...
Absolutely. Change is one of the things that is always changing. Change is always here, and you do have to constantly adapt. And I know for myself, like when I tell people that I don't like public speaking or giving presentations at work, people always be like, what? Crazy, you're the people person. You're the one that get us started when we go to the conferences with partying and, hanging out and just socializing with people from other sites. And I always remind them of a phrase that I actually learned from Joyce Meyer, and that is, do it afraid. And, and I always go back to, and I forget which scripture it comes from, but it basically says, God did not give us a spirit of fear, but of love and sound mind. And I always remember that, and I tie those two phrases together with do it afraid. And a lot of times I'm scared half to death, nervous, but I do it and get through it. And that's just one of those things that we have to challenge ourselves to just do it and get through it. And sometimes we have to put on a deaf ear to the naysayers and really not listen and pay attention to things that they may be saying, even though most of the time it comes from a good place of trying to protect.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. People, they want to protect you. And what do they want to protect you from? Well, I want to protect you from disappointment. I want to protect you from failure. I want to protect you for the possibility of failure. And it's all in love, okay? I don't think people, intentionally want to sabotage, your ambitions and your dreams. I don't think that. But I think sometimes in a quest for people, it reminds me of this father and daughter was out, and they was out looking at, different nature, and the little girl runs across this cocoon, and she says, "Oh, Daddy, look!" And he looked at it, and he says, "Oh, yeah, it's a cocoon." And inside the cocoon was this little, it was a caterpillar, but it had turned into a butterfly. But the butterfly was struggling to get out of the cocoon. And so the little girl said, Daddy, look, the butterfly is struggling. And she said, I don't want to see it struggle. So she took something and she cut the cocoon open, and the butterfly died. So part of your growth, part of your growing is the struggle.
It's the struggle. Yeah.
So listen to this. If you're not struggling, then you're not growing. If you're on easy street, then you're probably not growing. Okay? Because if you're growing, things are new. Things are different. You're being challenged. Well, I've never encountered that before. That's because you're doing something different.
Right.
You're doing it a different way. You've learned a new skill. So always remember, if you've always got to do something for the very first time. And whenever you do that, it's going to be very challenging. It's challenging. It's going to challenge you. But remember what you're being challenged by. You're being challenged by fear, and it's mostly fear of unknown. If you think about a baby, most babies are born with fear of loud noises and fear of the dark. Okay? And Lord have mercy, don't put a loud noise in the dark. Right? So we're the same way. Okay? We've got a fear of the dark as well. And the dark is the unknown. It's what we don't know. But you know what? Sometimes what you don't know is more beneficial than what you know. I heard somebody say one time, some people would rather cling to a known devil than an unknown angel. Why? Because it's unknown. All right. So we got about 5 minutes left. I'm going to go to point 5, and that's probably where we'll wrap up. But point number 5 is fail early and fail often. Okay? If you're unable to identify areas that you didn't quote unquote fail in, it means you haven't tried enough. Okay? I think you fail often and fail early. Hey, get it out the way. Put some gasoline drawers on and set yourself on fire. Right? Hey, if you're gonna do it, do it. All right. You know, I'm just a strong proponent in that. You know, even the Bible talks about being lukewarm.
Oh yes. Okay. Wow.
Right.
Absolutely.
So you want
hot or cold.
Right. You want to be tenacious. Okay. You want to be passionate about what you're doing. Okay. And so I think even for children, when we think about our children and they become adults, right? I think we don't know what that child's going to do until they encounter their very first failure. Right? I can remember when I left the military and I worked really hard to wrap my undergraduate degree up while I was on active duty. And a snafu happened, and I basically missed my graduation by 1 credit. Okay, after just constantly staying on top of my credits. And I'm gonna tell you, I thought the world was going to end. Okay, because I was already in graduate school. They pulled me out of graduate school because my degree didn't confer. And, you know, here I am, 25, 26 years old, and I thought the world was going to come to an end. And I wanted to go somewhere and die. But you know what? I think about that now, and I think it was really no big deal. I mean, I took a tennis class, and I got my degree 2 months later, 3 months later. It was really no big deal. But it's what we perceived as failure at that time. And that's why I say, hey, you know what? Attempt to do it. Okay? I'd much rather, I'd much rather succeed at doing, I would much rather fail at trying to do something than to succeed at doing nothing at all.
Absolutely.
And you got some people who gonna sit back and, man, talk about you. Oh, look at you. What you doing now? Oh, and they gonna, oh, baking. Oh, you baking? Oh. You know what I'm saying? They sit back. I call them the peanut gallery. They just sit back and they just bark, man. Mm-hmm. And, you know, you just keep moving on. You just keep moving forward and taking names. We got about 2 minutes. You want to say something?
Well, I can share the another one of these points that we have for examples. One of those things that make you go, Sidney Poitier, when he first
That's that black guy, isn't it?
Yes, it is. He actually auditioned as an actor. His very first audition as an actor, he actually forgot his lines, flubbed his lines up. He had a very thick Caribbean accent. And basically, the director told him, quit wasting my time. You need to go somewhere and be a dishwasher. Yeah. Now, just imagine if he had went somewhere and been a dishwasher. Yeah. You know, the movies that he starred in, the legacy that he's become, the activist that he's become. But, you know, his work, his book of business as an actor is phenomenal. So just imagine if he didn't do it afraid and try it again. Yeah. Make it okay. Make it okay to fail. Nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong. Because failure ain't really failing. Think about this. The job that you have or the business that you have that you really, really enjoy, how many businesses did you go through to find that one business? How many jobs did you go through to find that one job? Okay, you went through stuff.
you're going to learn more from what you don't want, from doing what you don't want. That's how you're going to find what you want. You find what you want by doing what you don't want. You know, when I look at, you know, the things that I've done, the things that we've done, we mostly did a lot of the things that we didn't want to do. And that's how we found things that we wanted to do. Say, wow, I like this.
Right.
I think I'm going to hang out a while. I think I'm going to do this a while.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that's how you learn. So make it okay. It's okay. You know what? At least you know. And at least you know you're a little bit closer to what you want to do. All right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Always knock on doors and continue to go for what you want. And I always like to, you know, other people that I mentor is I like to talk to them, you know, when I'm mentoring them, to talk to them about like their profession, like where they're going and jobs and things like that, to always ask, you know, for more money. Don't accept the first thing that's offered to you. And I am just amazed and shocked at people who just accept what's offered to them the first time. That's my free tip. Never accept the first salary you're offered. Always ask for more money. But anyway, the most they can say to you is no, and at least you ask.
Right.
Yeah, that just came up today, and I just thought about that. That's one of the things in failing forward, and that can kind of get you some extra money, and in finding what you want to do. And
Absolutely. And guys, you said, well, what does this have to do with relationships?
I started rambling.
Everything. No, it was right on point.
Yeah.
Everything. It's got everything to do with relationships. Everything.
This
Because
can apply to anything in your life, really.
Absolutely.
With
Absolutely.
regard to failing forward, whether it's, you know, doing a project at home, whether it's, you know, trying a new technique of communicating.
Right.
Even you don't always get it right the first time, and you know it may not end well the first time, but in time it may get better. Whether it's starting another business,
Right.
doing something on the side, you know, whatever it is, it can really fit anything that you want to do in life. Starting something different.
Absolutely. Well, listen, guys, that's a wrap. Appreciate you getting on. And hey, Mr. Reed. Hey, Miss Kathy Darden.
Hey there. And hey, Miss Witherspoon.
Yeah.
And Miss McPhail. And I forgot who else I saw.
So, anyway.
Thank y'all for tuning in, and sorry about the technical difficulties earlier. Hopefully that's all worked out, and this is good to go. So remember to share, post the video with other people on your Facebook pages and your other social media page. And remember, anything that you place in the comment section is public. And thanks again for tuning in, and we will talk to you next week.
Hey, and God bless you. And remember, we empower the people that build the relationships.